If you've been considering an early retirement, don't leave it like I did until 71. That is probably going to be the biggest regrets of my life. I'd convinced myself that I couldn't stop working because of the cost of living. But then again, we were renting a home and I was running a car to and from work. So, of course, all those costs do add up, and you become a rat in a wheel or on a treadmill, bit of both, and you are just going from day to day, and you don't even enter the thought that you can give up work because you never seem to have enough money. You're tired, you're grumpy because you're not having much downtime, because even in the weekends and after work, you're tired. You're wearing yourself out. And as I say, I was 71. And although reasonably fit and healthy for my age, I'm sure that the stresses of it all have taken its toll. But I came to the point where the marriage broke up. It had been really should have been attended to some years before, just like my retirement issues. They could have all been nipped in the bud about 10 years ago, I reckon. But anyway, I was left with the rent on my own, managing on my own, and I realised that I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the funds, even with my job. And I was receiving a pension by that time, because in New Zealand we get a pension at 65. So one night I was standing at the sink where I do all my thinking, looking out the window, and a next door neighbour had a little camper van which she lived in. And the idea popped into my head, as they do, and I thought, that is a good option. I could see that the cost of living would be reduced. I'd be living in a vehicle, so I wouldn't need another vehicle. So I plucked up courage to go over and talk to her, and she's a lovely lady, and she showed me around. She was very, very helpful about all my questions. And so the seed was sown, and I finally saw a way out. So about the same time, the small business that I was working for at the time restructured, and I found myself only working very small hours a week. So that I was really starting to feel the squeeze. Now, you could just fall into a mumbling heap, but after talking to the lady next door, I decided that's what I would do. So I started desperately packing things up, gave my landlord notice, and started hunting desperately for a van, which thankfully I found without too much waiting. It was bad enough because I was fast using up funds in the bank, my savings, to live, because I wasn't bringing enough in. The hardest part actually was downsizing and getting rid of all of the, dare I say, hoarding I had. That took its toll on me. I know for a fact that trying to decide what to do with everything, I took carloads of stuff to the second-hand shops, which they were very grateful to receive, and taking some things that I couldn't part with at the time to my daughter's place, which was a great help at that time, and started to try and work out a budget on how I could live. And by getting rid of all of those things that I'd been storing in boxes for years, carting them from one place to another, actually gave me a great sense of relief. The weight of that responsibility of them was enormous. It's funny that you don't realise it. You have all these things that you think you can't live without, but to be honest, they're just dragging you down like a great big noose around your neck with a weight on it. Once I got the little van sorted out, they had a few mechanical things I needed to tend to, which I got done, and I was off, literally down the road, puff of smoke and off. But the amount I've saved by living this way is incredible. My only overheads are my own personal needs as far as food and what have you, just whatever I might need. And the vehicle itself needs very little maintenance. I've got insurance and that sort of thing for myself and the vehicle. But other than that, that is all I have. And I realise, in hindsight, that there was nothing that could have stopped me from doing this 10 years ago at least, if I'd done it. And that is going to, as I say, is going to be a real regret, is a real regret. And I just hope that by listening to my story, it might encourage you to reconsider your own situation if it's something you want to do. I mean, if it's something you want to do is to retire, don't leave it too late if it's at all possible to retire early. My little grandson recently said to me, would I go and play with him? And it just made me smile because, well, one of the points was, how did he think I was actually capable of playing? What is playing? Kids do that, don't they? They say, oh, let's go and play. And it's like a language of their own. They just know what it is that you do to play. But we lose that as we get older and we forget how to play. And that's what I've been doing. For this last year, I've learned how to play again. I can just go and do whatever I want, whenever I want, and it's bliss. The stress of not having to rush, get up, go and get things ready for the day, go out the door, go to work, come home. That situation is really, for a human, it's not a good thing. So I've learnt to play, and I'm delving into hobbies that I've had on the back burner for many, many years, and I'm being able to get out and enjoy life before it's too late. Because as a young person, I used to always say, I'm going to write a book, but I'll leave it until I retire to do so, because you don't have the time, because you always, when the creative urge comes upon you, what do? You've got to be somewhere, you've got to do something, so you can't slot that creativity into a time that suits the rest of your life, especially when it can only amount to perhaps an hour or two a day. I know there are serious writers who will make the effort to get up early, write, and then go to work, but I'm afraid I'm no early bird. So my point is, though, that if you put off doing things until you retire, the chances are you may not even live that long. I mean, God willing, I'll have a few more years left. So, time is our most valuable commodity, and I'm afraid I wasted quite a bit of my time in my later parts of my life, and I will regret it always. But if I can encourage you to reevaluate your situation, then I've done something towards that loss of time that I've lost. So, good luck with your journey, and I wish you all the best that life can give you. So until next time, bye for now.